Welcome to Movie Man with Greg and Mr. B. I'm your host, Greg. Sitting across from me is
Mr. B.
What's up, dude?
Not much, dude. I had a pretty good week. Well, so far. What about you?
How can you have a bad week when you just saw Rogue One?
I know, right? Oh my gosh. I have so much to say.
I know, me too. It's like, I want to catch up and I want to like tell you how things have been, but like, I just want to straight up like jump into Rogue One right now.
Yeah. Well, dude, I would really like to hear how you've been, though.
Okay, check this out. Funny story, right? Not funny, very heartbreaking, to be honest. Okay,
Really?
So this was last night, right? I come home from work, and my son is like, he learned how to run, so now he's like running around the house, right?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And he's like grabbing things. You're constantly having to take things out of his hand. And so last night, he had a piece of tape because we've been wrapping gifts and stuff, and he had a long piece of tape, and he like bunched it up, and he put it in his mouth.
Oh, gosh.
And then took off running, right? So I'm like, I jump into dad mode and I have to like save my son's life, right? So I like dove off of the couch and I like caught him by his flannel that he was wearing, but I fell and I like gravity like pulled him to the ground.
Ooh.
And he smacked his forehead on the couch. Like, you know how couches are soft, but at the bottom it's like wood legs and stuff or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And he hit his face straight on that, dude, and like cut his whole forehead.
Oh, man.
It's so bad. And then I was trying to distract him, so I picked up a ball and I was like, look, buddy. And I was like throwing it against the wall and stuff, right? And it kept bouncing back and forth. And then he ran up to grab the ball that was near the wall, and he stepped on the ball and went face first into the wall.
Oh, my God.
Like 20 minutes later after smacking his face into the couch.
I don't mean to laugh. It just, you make it sound funny.
I mean, in retrospect, I guess it's funny, but at the time...
Because he's okay.
Well, because he's okay, yeah. But check this out. The story's not done. So then my wife is getting pissed, right? And she's like, okay, you got to take him and put him like in the gate in the living room. I'm like, all right, fine. So I take him into the living room, and he has a sleeping bag on the ground, and he does this thing where you say, go to sleep, and he'll like fall to the ground and like go to sleep, right? But the sleeping bag was by the chair was a sleeping bag, and I was like, go to sleep, and he fell to his knees and then face first went down to go lay down on the sleeping bag, but hit his face for a third time in the corner of a different chair.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah, 100% serious.
So he's okay, though?
Yeah, but he looks like he got like in a boxing match and got effed up.
Oh, the joys.
Oh, yeah. The joy is now that I can like look back. But dude, it looks way worse this morning than it did last night. I was like, look, babe, it's not so bad, right? And then this morning I woke up and I looked at his face, and it is like a huge gash in his forehead.
Oh, my God.
Like, not enough where he needs to go to the doctor or anything, but it's like, oh, that must have hurt.
Yeah. Man.
How's your wife or fiance? How's your family?
They're good. Everything's good. Just been working really long hours, 12 hours every day. I'm tired, but everything's going really good.
Do you finish Christmas shopping yet?
No, I was just going to say I'm excited to finish Christmas shopping.
Cutting it close, dude.
Yeah, I always do. I'm one of those people. I procrastinate, and I push it to the very... Dude, I'm one of those guys, unfortunately, on Christmas Eve that's like rushing around trying to finish everything up. But the reason why is because I really like everything to be perfect on Christmas morning.
Oh, yeah, like a big event.
Yeah. And like I want to like overdo it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And make extra money so I can go the extra mile and get something extra, for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why it's always like that for me. But yeah.
I just dropped like 2 G's for Christmas. I like dead broke now, dude. Like because I have to buy so many gifts. I have to buy my wife like a ton of gifts. We always buy each other a ton of gifts, right?
Yeah.
Now I got to buy my son some big gifts. And then I got to buy my in-laws, and that's like a huge family. Got to buy them stuff. Then I got to buy my brother and sister's stuff. And then my mom and her new husband stuff. And then my dad new stuff. And then grandparents. And then like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just like, before you know it, dude, if you buy decent quality presents for people, you're spending a lot of freaking money.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of have it made in the way that my fiance takes care of all of our Christmas shopping. Except I will buy for her, and I'll go out and buy a few gifts for the kids, for our kids, and that's it. She buys for my siblings, for my parents, my grandparents. Like, she's so thoughtful and good at Christmas shopping. She just takes care of all of it. She's like, yeah, everybody's done. I got everybody.
She sounds like a G.
I know, and I'm like, just like... Really?
That's nuts.
I just have to go buy for you and the kids? That's it? That's like...
And you're still not done?
I know, right?
I finished like a month ago.
But is there really an end to when you're buying for your significant other? You know that even though you're done, there's still things you're like, I kind of wish I could have got her this. I kind of want to still go get her this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially, yeah. I get it. Anyways, that's enough jibber jabber. We got too much to talk about for this movie.
Rogue One, let's do it.
Rogue One, I'll start it out.
Sorry, listeners.
For what?
For taking so long to get into the topic.
I'm not sorry. I got the Christmas spirit. All right, so this movie, Rogue One, came out 2016. It was directed by Gareth Edwards. I looked him up on IMDb, and the only big thing that I noticed him for directing was Godzilla from 2014.
Yeah.
Did you know he did that movie?
Yes, I did.
I didn't know that till now.
And I liked that movie, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't like that movie. But you'll see my opinions and stuff.
I mean, I liked it and I didn't like it, but
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully if they make a sequel, it'll be better.
yeah.
And the trailer won't be misleading like Godzilla's trailer was.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston. Like, what happened? The hell? You know what
He
I mean?
died.
Yeah, like, why?
I know.
You've got Bryan Cranston in your movie and you kill him off?
They're like, well, we already got the movie ticket, so you already paid for it. Now you're stuck for another hour. Anyways, this film stars Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso, Diego Luna as Cassian Andor, Alan Tudyk. I don't know how to say that.
Don't
But
know.
you know who he is? Have you seen Dodgeball?
Yes, I have.
You remember the guy, he's like Steve the Pirate or something?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's also in Knocked Up. He's like, if you could just, not lose weight, but get tighter.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's that guy. He does the voice of K2SO. The
Really?
droid. Yeah.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, actually, like, I'm glad that he did it because I really like that actor and I
Yeah.
like that character.
Cool.
We also got Donnie Yen. That's the Asian fella.
The
with
Ip
staff.
Man. Oh, yes.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Do you? It's like Charette or something, or Charut.
I didn't even actually know what his character's name was in
Yeah.
the movie. I don't think they even said it.
Maybe not. I don't know, but his name in the movie is like Charette Imwe or something like that. Some Star Wars name, can't pronounce it.
I know him from the Ip Man movies, and so when I was seeing him in the movie, I was just like, the Ip Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've never seen him before.
It's like a badass martial arts movie.
But I liked his quote he kept saying throughout the movie.
Yeah, about the Force.
Yeah.
I
It was
loved
like,
it.
The Force is with me, or I'm one with the Force, or something
Yeah,
like that.
that was tight.
I liked it because it kind of felt like a build-up moment.
Yeah.
Like when the stuff started going down towards the end and he kept repeating that.
It kind of
was
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It kind of like gives you a sense of realization that not everybody is a Jedi. Not everybody is one with the Force, like Luke, like Qui-Gon Jinn, like freaking Anakin. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some people like strive to have it.
Don't forget
and
Rey.
Yeah,
'Cause she's
Rey,
a
of
pimp.
course. Yeah, but some people in the galaxy are just not like them, but they
Right.
want to be, and they just trying so hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like having the Force is like something to really value, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, but
By the way, I just want to say this. This is spoiler-free for the first quarter of this episode, and then we're going to get into spoilers after we warn you, okay?
absolutely.
All right, so we got Forrest Whitaker, plays Saw Gerrera. He done like this many ducks.
Dude, your impressions are pretty spot on. I'm telling you, you're really good.
I appreciate that. And we have Riz Ahmed. He plays Bodhi Rook. He's the Imperial soldier the pilot
Yeah,
that kind of turns for the Alliance.
I liked him.
I didn't like him at first, but he grew on me.
Yeah, I liked Diego Luna more.
Yeah. And then Mads Mikkelsen plays Galen Erso.
Yeah.
Jyn Erso's dad.
I love that
I
actor.
love that character. I
Yeah.
thought he was really good. The plot of Rogue One goes as so. The Rebel Alliance makes a risky move to steal the plans for the Death Star, setting up the epic saga to follow. Pretty short plot, but, I mean, pretty...
That's all that needs to be said.
That's all
though.
that really needs to be said about it, yeah. All right, so Mr. B, I got to ask you, man. What did you think about it without spoiling anything or giving anything away?
I thought it was fantastic. The entire movie, I was engaged. There was not a single moment where I was like, I'm bored. You know what I mean? All the actors, while watching the movie, I could tell that all the actors really, really didn't take for granted that they were in a Star Wars film. You know what I mean? You could tell that all of them were like giving it their all, you know?
Yeah.
I really, really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. God, I want to get into spoilers. I want to tell you why. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So this is going to be kind of brief for me as well.
yeah. So what about you?
what I thought about it was I thought it was an amazing film. I thought it was fantastic, to be honest. I will say that as not being such a Star Wars buff, like I've mentioned in the last episode,
Right.
what I really adore about Star Wars is not so much the story, even though it's an epic story, but not so much the story as much as I love the visuals of Star Wars. I love lightsabers. I love when they use the Force.
Oh, yeah.
I love all of that stuff. So this movie didn't have much of that stuff in it because it's not a Jedi story.
And the whole time, the whole movie, you're like hoping that they will have some of it
Somehow,
at the end.
yeah. And so because of the lack of like Jedi stuff and lightsaber duels or whatever, it kind of made me like, I didn't get the full enjoyment that I wanted to get completely out of it.
I totally understand.
And this is completely just my opinion. I'm sure everybody else loves this movie, but it didn't have the Star Wars feel that I wanted to feel while I was watching it. When it ended, I was like, yeah, but during the movie, I was like you said, like, show me a lightsaber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just show me a Jedi walk by with a lightsaber. Like, that's what I would love to see. But,
Yeah.
And you don't see really that. That's not the kind of story it is. So for that, I was a little bummed in that way. But like I was trying to explain to somebody today when they asked me what I thought of it, I said, if it wasn't a Star Wars movie, this would be a fantastic movie. It's a great like mission movie. You have to get these plans and you have to deliver them safely. It would have been a fantastic movie. But knowing that it was connected to Star Wars made me like have to knock it a little bit because I didn't have that Star Wars feel like I anticipated.
I totally respect that.
Especially when you see like AT-ATs in it. It's kind of like it's got some of the cool parts of Star Wars, but it doesn't have some of the parts I want. So that's how I would say I felt about the movie.
I want to go off of what you just said. I want to make my answer a little bit longer and reply to you. I totally agree. I mean, not totally agree, but I do agree in some regards. The entire film, I was watching it and I was like, this is awesome. And I am really into Star Wars and all of Star Wars, not just the Jedi and the Sith, which is obviously my favorite part. But I like the commandos, the stormtroopers, the rebels. I like all the lore, all the backside stuff that's going on. And I respected the movie for that, for being that, a side story and not focusing on that stuff that I love and I've always loved. And while watching it, I had to continuously remind myself, this is not a Jedi story. This is not a story of lightsabers, and I just have to love it for what it is. And I kept having to do that because I just like you. I was like, oh God, I want to see a lightsaber battle so badly. You know what I mean?
I 100% know what you mean. Yeah.
But thanks to Gareth, however you pronounce his name, Edwards,
Gareth,
he did not disappoint. I don't want to do the spoilers yet, but
no, he did. He delivered what you wanted to see.
Yeah, at some point in the movie. I'm not going to give it away just yet. But yes, honestly, man, like after the movie was done and the credits were rolling, I was sitting there and I was like, I loved it.
Okay, good.
I really, really loved it.
Okay, so...
I'm sorry, without getting into the spoilers once again, the action, holy hell, so much of it. You know what I mean?
Good action,
I love action scenes.
So, like I said in the Arrival episode, I said, if somebody comes up and says, Greg and Mr. B, should we see this in the theaters? Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Should we see it in IMAX? Yeah.
Yes.
Should we see it in 3D? Yeah.
Probably.
If that's your thing. And we both saw it in standard.
Standard.
I didn't want to pay the extra money to see in 3D.
Dude, while I was sitting in the theater, not for one moment was I like, this would be so much better in IMAX or 3D. I forgot about IMAX and 3D. The movie was so damn good. The action scenes were so crazy. They were good enough in standard format.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine what they'd be like in IMAX 3D. It'd probably be mind-blowing. Tempting to go see it again, honestly.
If I had the means and I didn't just go
cash.
broke on the Christmas.
Freaking Christmas.
I could go back and see that, yeah. So you say, see it in theaters? Yeah.
Definitely.
3D would be cool. IMAX would be awesome. Yeah. I definitely say it'd be a good movie to go see in theaters.
Money well spent.
You shouldn't wait till it comes out to rent.
Definitely not. That'll be a mistake. Don't do that. Go see it.
Okay.
Support it.
All right. So let's get into our spoiler talk now. So we're going to give everybody 10 seconds to turn off the podcast if you haven't seen a movie. Got 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Spoiler time.
Dude, Darth Vader at the end.
So tight, dude.
Lightsaber, oh my god, dude. He just like slaughters everybody. It was so fucking awesome.
I feel so bad for the people that were like, no, my phone's in my pocket. I couldn't get to it. You guys suck. I'll never listen to you again.
Dude, Darth Vader at the end of the movie. Oh my god.
That made the movie.
Dude, the movie wouldn't have been as good. Honestly, not nearly as good.
I know.
I love action scenes. I love Star Wars. But Darth Vader at the end of the movie, when he walks into that small little hallway, and it's like dark, and then you see his lightsaber turn on. You see the lightsaber turn on! I mean, I just need to say that again. You see the red lightsaber turn on. And
right,
you're just like, oh god.
Let's cut this for a second.
All right.
Because this is in my top 5. So I really want to talk about it in my top 5.
All right, we'll save it.
I'm sure it's probably one of our same numbers.
Yeah. I guarantee you it's our same number.
So let's try and get into this again a little bit in different words. I'll go first since you're stuffing your face with a burrito. I'll talk first. Okay, did I like this movie? Yeah, but there's some stuff that bothered me a lot about this movie. Unlike Arrival, where we said, like, I really liked this and I enjoyed this about Arrival, and at the end of it, we were like, but we didn't like it. You know, like, I don't want to mislead people, so I'm going to be straight up from the beginning. I loved the movie. There were flaws, in my opinion, and this is a big flaw that completely ruined the movie experience for me from the beginning. It starts off, when the movie starts, it starts off Lucasfilms, like it always does. Mm-hmm. It says, in a galaxy far, far away. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. And then it goes dark, and you're like, yes.
Here it is.
And then it goes, nothing.
Yep.
Then it's a planet, and you're like, what? This is like the first Star Wars thing in history that like...
Because it's a side story, dude.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Not good enough for me.
Not everyone is not... I am the opposite. I respected that they didn't give it that. Because it doesn't deserve that. It's not a Star Wars episode anything.
Well, I'm not so far talking about like respect of it as much as I'm saying... For me,
a letdown?
A huge letdown. And it didn't... Okay, see, it not only did it not have the Star Wars pop up in your face and huge yellow writing, but it just showed a picture instead. And then had a whole thing for a while, like a whole scene go on, and then it said, Rogue One, dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. But then it didn't even have the same score as the Star Wars music. They altered the music, they altered the beginning, and it also didn't say Star Wars Rogue One, a Star Wars, or something like that. It just said Rogue One.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even in the same font. It was like thin yellow lettering.
Dude, that's so funny that you say that. When I was sitting in the theater, I saw that part of it, and I did respect it all. I didn't think that this movie deserved to have what all the other previous episodes have. I liked that. But at the same time, when it showed the font of Rogue One and that thin little yellow,
yeah.
I was thinking to myself, I have better stuff on my YouTube channel. Like the stuff that I put across the screen, like story number 1, it looks cooler than that. Like,
yeah.
That's just like the most basic little thin yellow line font. Like, it was just like, really? That's it?
Yeah.
You know?
It just said Rogue One.
Yeah.
It didn't even say a Star Wars story.
Not even the font. The color was popping to me. I don't know. I was a little let down by that too.
I feel you, dude. I'm trying to debate what I want to say next. Okay. So that threw me off. Okay. I tried to push past it like you were saying.
Yeah.
You know, but it kind of threw off the feeling. Because you know how...
away?
Well, yes. And well, yeah. It was the first thing of the movie. It didn't have the crawl or whatever. Like, okay, it didn't have the same music. It didn't have the big, thick Star Wars letters.
Yeah.
It also didn't have the crawl where they could have easily did that. And been like, the main... Whoever... I keep forgetting his name. The main character. Something Ursa or something.
Jyn Ursa.
They had him and the story go on, but they could have put that in font. So we kind of would have known immediately what happened. Like, there was an Imperial officer or Imperial scientist that this and that, and now the bad guys are coming to obtain him. And then that could have shown him on his island, you know?
I understand, but I still very respectfully disagree. Because I know that this is called Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's a side story. It's not connected to the main 9 movies that are going to be. There's going to be a 7, 8, and 9, obviously.
Not connected. It's 100% connected.
You know what I mean? They're not connected to the main
It's
characters.
it's like Better Call Saul of Breaking Bad.
Yes.
It's kind of like
they're
a
not,
sister show.
They're not connected to the
movie.
main characters. They're not connected to Han Solo.
Right.
They're not connected to Luke. You know what I mean? Because the producers, the director, the people that made the movie realized that the people, us, the audience, wants to see that connections and little Easter eggs to those things.
Mm-hmm.
They threw it in the movie for us. C-3PO and R2-D2. That was awesome. You know what I mean? Because that's what we want. But they also want to branch out and just kind of share other stories that have nothing to do with what we want. You know what I mean? So they're not going to treat it like it's a part of it. Because it's not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I 100% know what you mean, dude. I really do. I'm just saying, like I said, I'm not the hugest Star Wars buff.
Yeah.
But I went into it kind of expecting the same things I got out of the other 7. Was like the Star Wars opening, like the Star Wars theme and stuff like that. And what kind of threw me off and was kind of a letdown to me was even in the beginning, Jin's mom.
Yeah.
Remember how they were supposed to go off and like hide or something?
Yeah.
Because the dad was like, my wife died. Mm-hmm. And then when she showed up, he's like, oh, she looks alive or something, right?
It's a miracle.
Yeah. I thought that interaction was cool. But
that whole scene.
the mom was wearing like the same exact outfit as like a Jedi wears. She had the light tan robe underneath and then like the dark brown like cape robe over
It
it.
was similar, wasn't it?
It was like exactly the same. And that's why I was like, wait a minute. And she kept talking about the Force. So I kept thinking to myself, I was like, is she a Jedi somehow? Right? It just made me think that for a minute, you know, when I was watching it. And then she busted out her necklace that had a crystal on it. And that's the same crystal, I believe, that powers a lightsaber. Yeah, because they mentioned that a few times.
I don't even recall that at all, honestly.
You don't remember her before they...
Man, I'm going to have to go watch it again.
or pay attention this time. Jeez. My eyes were glued to this film. Okay, no, but so before the Imperials come get the dad, right? The mom, they're in that hut, and he's like giving his daughter a hug, remember?
Right.
And what the mom does is she takes her necklace off and gives it to Jin.
I don't recall that.
Okay, well, she does. She gives it to her, right? And then later on, towards the end of the movie, when things are kind of looking down in the fight, and they're, you know, whatever. The low moment of the fight, I guess you could say. There wasn't really one. But, I mean, like, you know what I mean? After it went on for a while, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
She took out that necklace again and looked at it, and it was a crystal. Do you remember seeing that part?
Dude, I don't remember this necklace crystal at all.
Yeah, she did. And
I mean, you have to, come on, give me a break. There was so much shit to see and notice in this movie. You know what I mean?
Yes, but what I'm saying is that crystal was said several times that this is a crystal that powers a lightsaber. So I thought when she whipped it out, like she was going to do something and like somehow like power some lightsaber thing or like throw it into a machine and like disable the shields or something with it. But she never did anything with it.
Okay.
And I was like, what? Right? And then there's another part which was a cool surprise, was when in the episode 3, the guy who adopts Leia, remember? He was in it.
Yes.
And that he came on and there was like special Star Wars music for him.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's that dude.
Yep.
I'm like, cool, you know? And I thought that was really cool that they brought him back. But one thing that happens when they all decide to go fight, he says something like, I'm going to go reach out to a friend or something like that, right?
He's been in hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the woman goes, the Jedi? And it made me go like, what?
Yeah.
Dude, there's a Jedi fight that's going to happen like with Darth Vader probably at the end.
I know.
Because so far Darth Vader only force choked somebody.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's got to be some epic thing with Darth Vader. And I thought he was going to fight a Jedi. But the thing that was weird, which I swear this is what I heard. My wife heard this too. When he starts like running away, like because he's going to go find the Jedi, he says something like, I'll go find her.
Yeah, I caught that. Who was he talking about?
I don't know. And then I looked over to my wife and I was like, ooh, he's talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. And she's like, he said her. And I was like, he did say her, huh?
Yeah. I caught that totally 100%. I was like, her?
I thought he was talking about Obi-Wan.
Yeah, who was in hiding? Obi-Wan and Yoda at that time.
They were like the only Jedis left.
Yeah, as far as we know. So who the hell was he talking about? He said her. 100% for sure. I remember that. I remember thinking the same exact thing you did.
Anyway, so in that case, then who was that guy talking about?
I don't know, but he definitely said
her.
Yeah, he says something like he says something about her, like I forget what he says. Dude, I need to see this movie again.
But I guarantee he said her because three of us heard it.
Oh, yeah. I know.
There's no way he didn't. But who is he talking about? I don't know. But so because of all of those little things like hinting towards Jedis and the Force and stuff, I thought I was going to see something that we never saw. Like like a new Jedi. Either a new Jedi or like middle-aged Obi-Wan, or you know what I mean, which could have easily been cool.
I knew that they weren't going to show any kind of form of Obi-Wan. I honestly thought at the end of the movie, I thought for sure that they would show some kind of Jedi come in at the end of the movie.
Something.
I was really surprised that in the entire movie they didn't show one Jedi.
Right.
Not even for a second. But
so that let me down. But those are all pretty much my gripes. Do you have any gripes about the movie?
Yes.
Like what?
Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, his acting?
Yes. It was just so over the top and dramatic. Like, it was just like, dude, you're trying too hard. Like, I know that you appreciate being in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, dude, you're already, like, a big actor. Like, you don't need to overact. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. It's just like, he overacted. You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, too much. You just back it down a little bit.
I understand why
a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah. I thought a lot, actually. Yeah. That voice that he has, whatever. Like, I understand why he has it, because something in his life so far has happened to where he has to have that, like, and it was kind of dumb that they made it like Vader sounds.
Yeah, and it
was nothing related to
I
Vader.
didn't think that was that whole thing, part of him, the little air breather thing, was unnecessary.
It made no sense. It didn't even explain why he had that.
Yeah, and it shows him use it once.
Yeah, and then at the end, right before he dies, he like takes it off and he's like,
he doesn't do that.
I know.
But yeah, dude, it's just his character I didn't really like, honestly. I didn't, because also, not only did I think he was overacting and he was a little bit too much and ridiculous, but I saw Forrest Whitaker the whole time.
That's what I said, remember?
I didn't see the character he was playing. I was like, the whole time I was like, this is Forrest Whitaker. This is just Forrest Whitaker acting a role. And the reason why Star Wars was so damn good in the 70s and the 80s is because they brought in people you didn't know. You know what I mean?
You have to have newbies.
With the exception of Harrison Ford
and
a little
Liam
bit.
Neeson.
Yeah. But, for the most part, like Ewan McGregor, he wasn't that popular. You know what I mean? Nobody knew who Hayden Christensen was.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman wasn't even that big.
I think she was like 18 at that.
Yeah, But Forrest Whitaker, I mean, come on. It's like bringing in Samuel L. Jackson. But you know what I mean?
He actually did a good job because he looks weird.
He pulled it off, though, in some way, even though it was always obvious that it's Samuel L. Jackson.
Because he's a pimp. He's a smooth pimp daddy.
He's Mace Windu, man.
Yeah.
He somehow just did it better. He didn't overact, and he just pulled it off way better.
Yeah, exactly. And, I didn't like that. It's kind of like when Suicide Squad got Will Smith to play Deadshot.
Yeah.
It's like they could have picked another guy who looks like him, that character. Like the dude from that new Netflix show. What's it, Johnny Cage? Or not Johnny Cage?
Yeah, it was Johnny. Yeah, I think it's Johnny Cage.
No, Johnny Cage is Mortal Kombat. Luke Cage.
I love Mortal Kombat.
Finish him.
But yeah, dude, exactly. Yeah, I completely agree.
You just saw Will Smith the whole time.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the same thing.
Like, even though I think he's a good actor, he did a good job in the role in the movie, and he was a badass, and he had badass scenes. The entire time, I was like, this is Will Smith.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is Hancock. This is freaking the guy from Pursuit of Happiness. It's Will Smith. You know what I mean?
In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days.
I just think it's way more. I think it's a way better idea as far as like movies like that, big ass blockbusters. If you want the audience to be engaged in the characters, I think it's a better idea to bring in people that you don't just stare at and know. You know what I mean? This is an A-lister that has been in so many movies. I'm having a difficult time imagining them being this one character.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think we still both agreed that we liked it. We explained what we really liked it in the first part, explained some of our gripes in the second part, but
I have one more tiny gripe, just real quick, real quick.
Only a tiny gripe.
Yeah.
Just a baby gripe.
The characters were meh. The only characters that I thought were like really memorable were Jyn Erso.
And the robot.
The robot for sure. And Donnie Yen, the blind guy.
That's
it. That's it.
I could care less about most of the characters.
The rest of them, maybe Diego Luna, the guy who played Cassius.
I didn't like his stupid French-looking accent the whole time, and his little he didn't look intimidating or hardcore.
But the rest of them, completely forgettable.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is Star Wars. You know what I mean? Where's the tentacles? Where's the badass glasses? Where's the cool? You know what I mean? Like, these are just boring ass characters. The only 3 that I really cared gave a shit about were the robot. Yeah, exactly. The robot.
The only one I care that died.
The only one that I really didn't want to die was the freaking droid.
I know. And then he died, and you're like, oh. But then when the whole planet blows up, you're like,
yeah. Yeah, I guess it's okay now. But dude, he went out like a G though. Like he went out hella tight.
Yeah, he was blasting all the stormtroopers.
Dude, never before has a droid ever had such like a badass hero moment in any of Star Wars movies.
I wish that was one of my 5. It's not. Anyways, though, are you ready to get into it?
Before we do that, yeah. One little trivia thing that I caught.
I forgot trivia.
Yeah, I caught something in the movie, and I was just like, "Oh, what?" And it was just the part when they're scrolling through the files toward the end of the movie, and she's like, Jyn Erso's like talking out loud. She's thinking out loud while she's scrolling through these, and she's like, something, black saber, something.
She said it?
Yeah, and I was like, black saber. The only thing she could be talking about is a black colored lightsaber.
Possibly.
She says the 2 words black saber 100% for sure, and I was like, black saber. Holy shit. Because supposedly those are floating around in the galaxy. You know what I mean?
I'd love to see one.
Yeah.
Maybe Luke knows how to
If you watch the TV show, The Clone Wars, you do get to see one.
Oh, yeah.
I'll check that out. I think we just talked about that in the last episode. But
I do have one piece of trivia that I know off the top of my head.
Cool.
About this movie. The creator of Star Wars did not like the way the movie opened, the same way I didn't like the way. Mr. Lucas did not like that there wasn't a crawl.
Really?
Yeah.
You would think that they would have asked him and yo.
Well, he's got no part in this anymore, dude. Disney is
just out of respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mr. Lucas, it's okay if we don't do that. You know what I mean? But they didn't. They were just like, fuck him. We're just gonna do whatever we want. Hopefully he likes it.
And a lot of people, like you said, respected it. But for me, it just threw me off. I missed the crawl.
I respected it.
Well, it just honestly though, it worked if it's a trick because it definitely made me look way more forward to episode 8.
Exactly. I was just gonna say, dude, it's gonna make you appreciate when you see it in 8. When you see it, it's gonna be epic. You're gonna be like, finally the crawl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that big that big moment.
Yep. Less than a year.
You ready to do our top 5? What time is it?
It's time for
top 5. Nailed it. 3rd time.
It actually it wasn't nailed. You actually started a little bit before me, but it's okay.
Yeah, but when I put the effect on it, we kind of blend together anyways.
Cool. All right, then good enough.
You want to go first or me?
I'll go first.
Okay.
My number 5 is definitely all of the scenery in this movie. Oh my gosh. All the planets, like that new planet Edo, like just that new planet. What was it? Not Jenga. That's a game. It was like, what is it? It was like Jeddah. It was Jeddah.
Oh, Jeddah is the one that originally blew up.
Yeah. And oh man, it was just all the scenery was just so beautiful, so much fun to look at.
Yeah.
I was just constantly looking around, like honestly thinking to myself, like this movie has way more to see, in my opinion, than Star Wars Episode 7. You know what I mean? Like, you just get to see so much. You're just looking around everywhere. You're just like, damn, there's just aliens, like aliens I've never seen before over there. You know what I mean? It was just really cool.
It was. And I always appreciate that even in the prequels and now, they still do that full-on thick makeup to make, so that it's not all CGI'd characters. They got, the guys, with the big colored horns and stuff. It's real. It really make animatronic looking aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate that they at least kept some of those throughout the movie.
But yeah, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is kind of like that. I put the CGI. This movie's CGI was top notch.
Oh yeah.
The whole spaceship fights.
Yeah.
All that stuff just looked fantastic.
Yeah.
The CGI looked great. But
funny
that's
that
not
you
the
say that.
CGI that I'm really referring to. There's 2 CGIs that I'm really referring to.
Oh, yeah?
One is, I don't know his name, but you might know it. The old guy from episode 4. The old guy. And they brought him back for this movie.
The old guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Grand Moff Tarkin. Oh, his face. Like, he looks real. I
He
was
looked
like,
real, and he was a CGI
dude,
character.
did they bring him back to life or something? My God.
He looked identical, but you know what? I could tell after a little bit he was CGI'd.
Yeah.
Because of the mouth.
Yep. The words were off.
They can't nail the mouth perfectly yet.
No.
For some reason. But everything else was spot on. I was so impressed with that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a real looking person, dude.
God, think of the what it takes to have that process go on. Like to create a character that has passed away and show him in a fresh new look. Not fresh new look, he looks the same, but how make him speak new words, a real life human being.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like, how do they do that at all? You know what I mean?
I don't know. But
unbelievable.
What I thought was even more impressive was my other CGI thing that I loved.
Princess Leia.
I was like, dude, and it was like 4K quality.
4K.
But it had like 4K quality when we were watching the film, and that Princess Leia looked like you could totally see the texture of her skin.
But yes, I agree. At the same time, it looked good, but not real to me.
Really?
Not 100% real. Hell no, dude. If you watch the original episode 4 at the beginning of the movie when it shows her like confront Darth Vader, dude, put him side by side. You can tell she's CGI. But hats off, a very good attempt. It looked good enough for sure to where I'm not going to be like, that looked ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Now, if they had the whole movie with her in it, CGI'd, it would
be too much.
But just that little bit was enough to be like, nailed it.
Yeah, and because it was just that little scene at the end, and it was only a few seconds, and I respected that they showed her, and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Princess Leia.
That was cool.
That was awesome. I loved it, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. What's your number 4?
Number 4 is a specific scene in the movie, and it's toward the end of the movie when that giant spaceship, the gigantic spaceship crashes into the other spaceship and like cuts it in half.
Yeah.
Like never seen anything like that in Star Wars.
Because the smaller spaceship hit the side of it and put its thrusters on like full throttle.
Yeah.
And like shoved that giant ship into the other one.
Yeah, and it like cut like
Just
sliced it in half with its I was just like, holy shit, that looks awesome. But that's it. There's nothing really more to say about that number 4. It was just, I saw that and I was like, this is tight.
It was.
Yeah.
I loved that. Yeah.
What's your number 4?
For sure, dude. My number 4 is that same scene. I put the Alliance against the bad guys.
Okay.
It's when there's that group of rebels that are like, we've done some things, and we'll help you fight. How many do you need? And it's right when there's like no hope to go fight them and get that message there. But then you have like one of the main dude, Diego, whatever that guy.
Diego Luna.
Yeah, and all of his like men that were like behind him, like, let's do this, right? And they went, and while they were fighting and stuff on their own, like the Alliance came. Remember that?
Yep.
And it just like they just started saving the day.
Yeah, and it showed like the old school characters from like episode 4, like I think it was
Was that the actual footage from episode 4?
I think it actually showed footage like footage that they didn't use. Like just stock footage of those characters. Yeah. I recognized some of those guys from episode 4. I was like, they're in episode 4.
I just thought they did some tricky camera stuff and made it look like a 70s movie.
Probably both.
Maybe. I don't know, but it looked cool and I respected that so much. I was like, I'm glad that they're like putting in the effort to make it look like it's really the one right before episode 4.
The guy with the mustache. The blonde mustache. But
yeah, that guy was cool. I liked him.
But yeah, dude.
But that whole thing was cool, and that it reminded me a lot of Avatar when the small group of the Navis or whatever are fighting the humans, and then they're like about to lose, and then remember like all the animals come, and just start fighting and like killing them. And you're just like, hey, well, I heard you. That whole part.
Oh,
that's
man.
like my favorite part of the movie, and that's my biggest thing that I love about certain movies is when they have moments like that.
Yeah, the crowd pleaser.
Yeah, exactly. The crowd pleaser moments. It just makes me shiver if it's done well. So.
Yep.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is the character of C2SO.
K2SO.
Is it K? Oh, yeah, it is
K.
K2. My bad.
It's all good.
Yeah, my mistake. It's K2SO, the droid, the new droid, the Imperial, I guess, like rebel droid. He, dude, So much character. He was easily my favorite character other than Darth Vader. I liked him more than the main character,
Me
Jyn
too.
Erso.
Like you said, you cared more, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought he was hilarious. Like almost all of his lines were funny.
Yeah.
And like he at the beginning of the movie, they're like fighting, and he like without looking, he like throws a grenade behind him and blows up some guys that are like, and he's like, yeah, I should have stayed on the ship.
Yeah. He's funny. How come she gets a blaster?
Yeah, dude. And then at the end of the movie, he's just a G, dude. Like it shows him use a blaster. You've never seen. I don't recall ever seeing in the movies a droid use a blaster like such a pimp.
Well, not like a handgun blaster, but those little skinny droids in the prequels that are like, hey, what are you doing?
That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about a droid that has some skill. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
That was tight. And
the way skills with a lightsaber.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the spoiler section, so you should know better by now. But when he goes out at the end of the movie, when they kill him off, like, dude, he just went out. Like, he killed him off. Oh, but there's something about... I'm so glad I remembered this. When they first arrive at the end of the movie to the place that they're trying to, like, get into to, like, get the data or the data for the plans.
Yeah.
It shows him, like, he has, like, a rod stuck in the back of the head of a droid that looks exactly like him. Yeah. And he's, like, doing something to that droid. And it doesn't explain what he's doing. But when I saw that scene, for some reason I assumed that he's like copying himself and putting himself in that other droid. Do you recall that scene I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
And they don't explain what that was. He was just doing something to that droid.
No, he was like sucking up the information on where the plans were, Stardust plans.
Are you sure that's what he was doing?
Whenever you ask me if I'm sure, you always make me second guess myself. But I was pretty sure when I told you that. But now I'm like, I don't want to sound like an idiot if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
I didn't catch that. So, okay, well then
because he does
it up for me.
He does that. He starts sucking the data out of that robot right before they go find that Stardust file.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's what he was doing because he's the one that was leading them to where it was.
Well, because the droid that he was doing it to looked exactly like him.
Well, because it's an Imperial droid.
Yeah. So I assumed for some reason that he's copying himself, making like a backup file, if you will.
Ooh, and keep him alive.
Yeah, and
that sucks that he's not in the 4, 5, and 6 though.
Wouldn't that be cool if I was right? I don't think I am because of what you just said. But wouldn't that be cool if I was right and you saw him again in a future movie?
Yep,
that'd be awesome.
I would love that for sure.
But yeah, K2SO, I love that character.
I firmly agree.
What is your number 3?
My number 3 is the Donnie Yen character when he starts fighting the stormtroopers in the beginning, or the middle or so.
Yeah.
And he's just like whooping all of them, and like they're shooting at him, and he's blind, but he's like dodging all the bullets.
Yeah.
And then he's just like taking them all down like one by one.
Yep.
And it didn't look like corny fighting. Like of course he's gonna win. Like he like looked like he was doing some like martial arts and with his staff, and it was cool, dude. I really liked that scene. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was interesting too because you've never seen a character that looked like they were doing legitimate martial arts in a Star Wars movie.
Right, besides lightsabers, but that's like sword fighting.
Yeah, that's a little different though, yeah. That's like Jedi tricks, like Jedi powers, you know what I mean? This was just a dude with fighting skill, just like badass skill, you know? And yeah, I completely agree. That scene was so awesome.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 has to be the end of the movie. I really liked it when Jyn Erso and Diego, I can't remember his name, was it Cassian? Cassius?
Cassian Andor.
Cassian. When Jyn and Cassian were at the top of that satellite tower or whatever, and you think that she's about to get, I didn't think for a second that freaking director guy with the white cape and everything was about to kill her off. You know what I mean? But he had her he had the blaster pointed to her, and then all of a sudden he shoots Cassian shoots him in the back.
Right.
And it shows him. That was like a small crowd pleaser. I was like, yes, he's alive. I didn't really care if he was alive, honestly, but just knowing that he was alive and that he saved her, that was like, yeah, dude, that's tight.
Yeah.
And then when it showed them, I was so surprised that the fact that, super spoilers, that everybody dies in this movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, like they didn't at least just get, they had to die in order for it to be logical.
Totally respect that. So risky and gutsy of the producers. There's no Disney in this movie at all anywhere. You know what I mean? Like that was so anti-Disney to have every character die. You know what I mean? And it's just the way they went out on the beach. Like even when they were going down the tower in the satellites in the elevator, and it showed them looking at each other, and you could tell that they were into each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that they were attracted to each other. But it doesn't matter because their character's about to be killed off, so nothing's ever going to happen for them. And then, like, one scene later, they're out of the elevator and they're on the beach, and then they die. And it's just like damn, something that could have been, like they had a romance that was starting to kind of
Would you
bloom.
call it a romance, or do you think they were hugging each other just because they were two people that were going to die?
No, hell no. When they were going down the elevator, it shows them looking at each other. There's definite romance there. Yeah, dude.
That's just odd because
in my opinion,
he tried to kill her dad.
I know, at the beginning,
dad.
But he didn't. Like he even says, I had every chance to pull the trigger. Did I?
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't.
I mean, wouldn't that kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, but
and
romance or not,
I think it's because he liked her. Honestly, he had feelings for her. And at the end of the movie, I think it was pretty apparent. And then it just shows, apparent, yeah. And then it just shows them perish like in a really beautiful way. They just both get blown up and hugging each other, and like holding hands. And it was just like, damn,
Yeah, that was
never gonna know what that could have been. But at the same time, like, it's realistic, and I respect it. You're never gonna hear about these characters again because they're dead. And then we move on to episode 4.
Yeah,
I loved it.
It was a good transition.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is we already spoke about this, Princess Leia. I'm not going to talk too much on that. I just thought that the CGI looked great on her, and that I loved that she was at the end of the movie because it was just a perfect way to end it.
Yeah.
There was nothing else after that. It was just like...
It was a perfect way.
She just turned around and... Now I don't remember what she said, but...
She says, hope.
Yeah, because then the next one's A New Hope.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and
perfect.
Perfect, and then bam. But see, what pissed me off is that the opening of the movie didn't open like a Star Wars film, but it ended like one.
Yeah,
where it just goes and it's like the blue writing.
Yeah, I mean, you at least get that,
that was cool, and that's what made me at the end of it go like, yeah, Star Wars.
I thought the writing in this movie was so damn good, especially the ending, like the her last word when they're like, what did they say? Your Majesty. What did they say?
I have no
Your
idea.
Highness. They say, Your Highness. Like, there's a message. Like, what do you think this is? And she like turns around, and it shows her face, and she says, hope. And it was just like, I wonder what the director thought when they gave him the script, and he read it, and he was just like, oh my God, this is gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, whoever wrote that, you are a genius. Like, this is perfect. You know what I mean? I don't know if they had to do any like revisions on the script, but damn, that was good writing.
It was good writing. So I'm just glad that she was in it for just to make a little appearance.
For 5 seconds.
5 seconds or not 5 seconds. I appreciated that she was in it. It was kind of a cool way to move into the next movie.
Why don't we both just get into our number 1 at the same time? Because you know damn well that yours is the same as mine.
And it was
Darth Vader slaughtering all those freaking all those rebels, dude. Oh my God, that was so badass. I mean, dude, I'm not a Sith guy. I'm a Jedi guy. I like the good guy to win. But at the same time, like, they made Darth Vader freaking frightening as hell again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, he is not one to be trifled with. And they've never showed his power before like this, Yeah. And at the end of it, when it showed the lightsaber turn on once again.
From the shadows?
Yeah, and from the shadows, you don't see jack shit. And then all of a sudden, you see the red lightsaber turn on. You're like...
Because you hear...
Yep. Yeah, and at that moment, I knew. I was like, this is the crowd. This is the crowd pleaser. This is the crowd pleaser I'm wanting. You know what I mean? And then just all the people in the hallway, they're just like, they know. They're like...
Pure fear.
Yeah, there's no way we can take this guy. Like, shoot at him because what else are we going to do? But we need to get this file. They're like passing it forward, and he's just going... He's slaughtering them, dude. It was like, God, I feel bad for them. But at the same time, like... Oh my God, you're so tight. You know what I mean? Like, just the way he like choked him, he like force choked him, threw him into the wall, impaled him. It's just like, yes, dude. Sith freaking orgasm. Like, if you're a Sith person, like, you watched that and you were just like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and I got a question for you. Maybe this was just me, but did Darth Vader's helmet seem to look a little different around the neck?
The whole suit honestly just looked fresh. Like, more fresh and brand new.
But not the head to me. The
head
looked
like different?
It looked like fatter. Like, the head was like fatter, like the neck part.
I didn't notice any difference in that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, he didn't have a neck.
I could be wrong, but maybe you're just...
I don't know.
You were looking too close.
Maybe, I don't know. But I thought he was cool. Such a negative that he wasn't in it that much. And the only other time you saw him really, he force choked somebody, which is, you like seen that so many times, like, give me something hardcore,
But at the same time, like, if you watch the movie again, like, they did it perfect. They give you a small taste of some Vader, you know what I mean? him force choking. You're like, oh yes, that was awesome, but come on, that's it. Like that's all you're gonna give me.
It.
And then at the very end, they're like, no, we're gonna give you the full Darth
And
Vader.
you know this is like the last opportunity they have to make a film with Vader in it. Like you can't keep making Vader. You know?
Hell no, dude. Well.
I mean, of course you could if you make like another Star Wars story around that time. But
I know they're making like a whole Han Solo prequel trilogy, but he's not going to be in that.
It's going to be,
obviously. It's going to be different characters. But yeah, you're right. I think you're right. This was like his last hurrah. His last freaking badass moment.
And they didn't really do much.
They did him justice. The
at
end
the
of the movie.
But he needed more. I thought at some point he was going to come out and like start defending his ship and like fight people because he's young, Anakin.
You're just a Vader freak. I mean, you get plenty of them in episode 6, episode 5.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
At that point he was a lot slower because the actor was slower and the lightsabers weren't as quality. You know, it was
but
like
still.
No, I'm not going to complain. That was the best part easily of the movie.
Yes,
was just that fight scene. It was just like a minute long, but he just destroyed, and I loved it.
Just a quick little message to one of our listeners. Your name starts with B. You listen to all of our episodes. My co-host told me that you didn't get around to seeing the movie, and I gotta tell you, man, like I think you're making a mistake. You don't feel like seeing it because you know the story, and I respect that. But dude, you need to see the movie. You really need to see the movie. Just seeing the scenes that you wanted to see is not going to do this movie justice at all. Just go see the movie. Like, don't you agree with me?
Got to see it at some point.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, so that was our top 5. I really liked it. I want to also mention something real quick. I forgot to say this earlier. This film the screenplay was done by Chris Weitz and Tony Gilroy. Story by John Knoll and Gara Witta. And it was based on characters by George Lucas. I just wanted to throw that in so no one can gripe about that.
Cool.
Let's get into our ratings. What did you rate this?
A 4 out of 5. I loved it.
Better than the prequels?
I was tempted to say 4.5. Dude, I definitely liked it more than episode 1.
What about 3? I mean, this movie was way more intense in the story. It was better, and it was better acted. But
dude, honestly, I think it's right up
really?
there. Dude, the action, there's way more action in this movie than any Star Wars movie previous. You know that.
Yeah.
And I love that. You know, I love the explosions. I love the blasters. I love all of the lore, you know, all of it. And,
yeah, it was good.
Yeah. A 4. I feel pretty good about a 4.
That's good.
What about you?
I think a lot of people would agree.
You're going to tell me a 3, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm going to say not going off personal like preference cuz it's not a 5 to me.
No way.
But I'm going to go off rating the film that it was. It was definitely, I would say, a 4.
Yeah.
And I say a 4 because the characters, like we said, were kind of forgettable. Like, I can't honestly remember their names without looking it up.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it was not... I didn't care that much because I knew they were going to die.
Yeah.
I remember the robot, though, because that's the only character I cared about.
And, of course, main female character.
Yeah. And then I'm kind of bummed about Vader not being in it so much, but a 4 overall. But I got one more question for you.
Okay.
Do you remember... 2 more questions. Do you remember in the trailers, and maybe now I'm doubting myself, but do you remember at some point... Jyn Erso was like walking across that sky thing, and there was one of those TIE fighters that like flew up in front of her.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Doesn't show that. And then do you remember? I think it's like the second trailer that came out for it. Vader at the end, he's like looking off into space or something, and he turns around like slowly, and his lightsaber comes out slow.
I don't recall that one.
No?
I'm definitely going to look it up, though.
I'm going to look it up, too, but I remember that because that's when I saw Vader, and I was like, what?
Dude, I remember so much dialogue in the trailers not even being in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, when they're talking to Jyn Erso at the beginning, and they're like, is that clear? And she's like, yes, sir. That whole thing doesn't happen.
Oh, man.
None of that happens. It's like, what the hell? Did they write a special little trailer script? You know what I mean?
No, it's what they do is they film the movie to completion, and then they put it together, and then they produce a trailer for it, and then it's finished off in post-production.
And then they cut.
And they cut some stuff out of it. That's why.
I know that, but still, it's like, why? You know what I mean? Some people are waiting to see specific scenes from the trailer in the movie.
Yeah, me too.
Like me. Yeah. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Not very much. I didn't really care.
But it's
yeah, it's like, why the hell? You know what I mean?
For sure.
The TIE fighter, like, especially the TIE fighter part when it, like, just rises up to the bridge that she's at, that doesn't happen at all. Like, why would you put that in the trailer? That scene in the trailer was not even that tight. Why disappoint us like that? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to put a badass scene in the movie that we cut, but we're going to put it in the trailer just to rub it in your face, but you're never going to see it in the theatrical release.
Yeah, you're going to have to buy it and see it.
I mean, and absolutely, I'm going to watch all the deleted scenes, but come on. Like, you know?
Well, that's cool, man. You rated it a 4. I rated it a 4.
Yeah.
I actually did really like it a lot. I'm not going to say I didn't. I did really like it. I thought it was a really good movie. There were some things that disappointed me, but I really did overall enjoy it. I'm probably not going to watch it again, to be honest, out of the other Star Wars films. I'll probably YouTube the Vader scene, but probably not want to watch the whole thing again. No, dude.
The next one is episode 8.
That'll be good.
Where I'm finally going to see Luke hold the lightsaber and kick someone's ass once again.
Hopefully. Don't be expectant.
It better happen or I'm going to be freaking furious.
Yeah, you could be. You never know. They could wait till the number 9. But anyways, that's Star Wars Rogue One. I hope everybody who listened to the spoiler section has seen the movie and didn't get that Vader part spoiled. And so, yeah, that was Rogue One. So let's get into our movie news, man.
Right.
I'll go first this time.
All right.
I wrote the movie Why Him is coming out. The movie with Bryan Cranston and James Franco.
It looks hilarious.
It just looks really funny. I love James Franco a lot, and he looks like he's a funny role.
And Bryan Cranston.
And Bryan Cranston's great and everything because he's freaking Bryan Cranston. That comes out in a few days, 3 days. Today's the 20th.
Nice.
It comes out on the 23rd, and I will see that for my birthday and do an episode on it.
Cool, dude.
Also, I want to say that Mr. White is going to make an appearance on Saturday Night Live.
I was hoping that you were going to say he's going to make an appearance on Movie Men, but,
You know, I wish. But no, he's going to be in the full Walter White get up, and he's going to do Saturday Night Live.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's going to be good.
What's your movie news?
My movie news is something super exclusive, something crazy, something that you don't know about, listeners, guaranteed, unless you're my fiance.
A porno they created together.
No, definitely not. I would not release that or talk about it. But anyway, Beetlejuice 2.
No, with Michael Keaton?
Is being made.
With Michael Keaton?
Yes.
Oh, God.
With Michael Keaton. Oh, I know. You don't like it for some reason, right?
Because everything's not original anymore.
Dude, Beetlejuice 2 is starring Michael Keaton, starring Winona Ryder, and it's being directed by Tim Burton. And this is the only sequel he has ever agreed to do in his career. And he's writing it. Tim Burton doesn't make mistakes, dude.
Right.
Beetlejuice 2 is going to be really tight. Trust me.
I do trust you on that.
And I'm super excited about Beetlejuice 2.
I'll see it on Blu-ray for sure. I know I'm not going to see it in theaters.
I'm definitely going to go see it in theaters.
I might see it in theaters. Maybe we'll do an episode on it. Not quite sure yet because I really didn't like the first Beetlejuice.
Depending on if the listeners write in a comment and tell us that they're excited about Beetlejuice 2.
Or they'll kill my dog. And I don't even have a dog. All right, man. That's cool, man. When does that come out? Do you know?
I'm assuming probably late next year, 2018.
Right on. There looks like a lot of good flicks coming out this year, or 2017.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it a lot. Next week, we're going to get together and do some Christmas film reviews. We're going to do probably about 3 movies or so, in total about Christmas films. Some of our favorites. So tune in for that, for the happy holidays. And contact information. Mr. B, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. You can email me or actually, I don't know why I always mess this up. You can look me up on YouTube. That's what I would really prefer you do. I have a YouTube channel called Being Scared. I narrate scary stories, both true and fiction, and I put a lot of passion into it. Please check it out. You can also email me at beingscared86@gmail.com. You can look me up on Twitter at beingscared86. You can look me up on Facebook if you just go to the search bar and type in Being Scared. And you can also find me on Instagram as of recently. Type in being_scared. And that's all.
Nice. You can reach me at moviemen@yahoo.com. You can email me that way. You can find me on Twitter at moviemen_. Find me on Instagram, which is my most used thing. And that's also moviemen_. And if you want to, for some reason, you can go listen to the same exact podcast on YouTube. And it's going to be Greg and Mr. B podcast. So go check that out. Anything else you want to add?
That's all.
All right, man. Have a good week, everybody.